Good evening and welcome everyone to some Monday night futsal. It is a blockbuster clash here tonight. The West Coast Cobras taking on Perth Futsal Club. These two teams have had a big rivalry over recent years, played in a number of grand finals, as well as the most recent winter season. The Cobras managed to get over the top of Inter, winning the premiership. We'll go through the team lineups here tonight, as well as coming into this game. I must mention that the Cobras are currently third, Inter a second, and a win for the Cobras would jump them above Inter into second place. So Inter Perth lining up for tonight: Amar Jahel, number 8, Nishan Alagoda, number 59, Ches Houston, 5, Lukman Syed, 7, Anthony Omuchuk, 40, Nathan Govius, 11, Amri Azimi, number 89, Gabe Reynolds, 58, Raiden Tran, 26, Daniel Ryan, 60, and Betam Zeba, number 2. And the Cobras for this evening have Jaden Ashmore, 1, Tom Robles, 20, Lachlan Ryan, 32, Jake Pizzuto, 4, Dexter Hard, 28, Flynn Nolan, 26, Luke Ross, 10, Zephyr McPherson, 12, Mo Tatonchi, 25, Marco Florenka, 8, Josh DeCane, 9, and Luke McLaren, 31. And we're about to get underway here in what promises to be a cracking game of futsal. I'm joined tonight by Daniel Scambaluri. What are your predictions for tonight? What do you see happening?
We're speaking about it with a few boys earlier. I think it'll be a 3-2 Cobras win with a Dexter Hard brace, freshly back from Melbourne, although there's an early pass to the back post from Amar Jahel, and it's an early corner for Inter here.
Yeah, definitely going to be tight, you'd expect. Look, these teams often play tight games. Shot by Alagoda, goes high. And you can just expect the intensity and the quality of futsal here tonight, and good crowd as well for a Monday night. Watching this game on the stream and in attendance. Here's Hard, Pizzuto, long ball over the head of Florenka, just couldn't quite get to it. Too much height on that ball there by Pizzuto, and it'll be taken by Tran. Both teams coming into this game, from what I know, at pretty much almost full strength. Obviously Dan Formato out for Inter in goals, but Raiden Tran's been gaining experience. Alagoda, Jahel, nice ball by the Philippus, cleared away by Ross. And Ross has missed a few games throughout the season, and that defensive ability to get to balls and clear it away, making huge blocks, has been missed at times, but the ladder doesn't show that. The Cobras on a probably about 7 or 8 game win streak, looking to continue that tonight. The Philippus gets it to Jahel on the left. Didn't get the connection he was after, calls for a handball, not given, still a shot deflected, and Pizzuto clears away, and Inter have come out tonight on the front foot with a few early opportunities, forcing the Cobras to defend, but now they win it back to the Cobras. Hard, Alagoda, Pizzuto leads, and that goes into touch. Cobras ball. Pizzuto to Hard defended by Alagoda. He'll go all the way to Florenka. Florenka takes his time, has some space. The Philippus defending. Florenka cuts in board, gives it to Pizzuto. Ross with a back roll, intercepted by Jahel. Now Houston. Can Inter keep their chances alive of coming top of the table? Nice intercept there by Ross, but both teams have got to win this if they want to keep the pressure on Cumbre up on top and at least keep the league alive, at least for the time being. But Inter won't want to drop to third. Jahel, Alagoda, and Houston's ball goes wide. Good intense start to this game, only a minute and a half in, but both teams playing a fast-paced game of futsal. Not a lot of mistakes you wouldn't expect in this one. Ends up with Tran in goals. Tran, Alagoda, Jahel to Houston, under pressure, but cuts through the centre with Pizzuto defending, now cuts to his outside. Good ball through, Alagoda with a chance, Pizzuto gets back, Alagoda still, big block by Ross, and cleared away, last off of, I think it's going to end up with Robles. Did go out last off of Houston, and massive by Luke Ross getting back there on defence. Pizzuto here into the centre. Long ball by Florenka, anticipated the Pizzuto run, didn't get it. Now to Philippus. With Ross defending, cuts it through about 3 players. Doesn't go anywhere yet though. Now goes back to Jahel. Jahel under Dexter Hard pressure. Dexter Hard's been a star all season. Intercepted there by Florenka, and it'll be Jahel's ball.
John Goodlich, 2 minutes in and he's calling a timeout here. I wonder what he's frustrated with, because it's clearly something.
You don't call a timeout 2 minutes into a game unless you've seen something that has caught your attention or concerned you. And I must say, Inter have had the better of the opportunity so far. Ross has been called upon, as on that occasion, to make a number of blocks. But Inter have seemingly moved the ball better and created a few chances so far. The Cobras, when they do get that chance to call the timeout, there will be plenty to discuss. As Houston now under pressure from Florenka. Now Alagoda, and that shot almost got past Robles, and that will be the timeout after a pretty frantic 2.5 minutes of play. Inter looking very strong to start this match. We'll be back with you after the timeout in just a minute. And we are back here after 2.5 minutes of highly intense futsal. The Cobras will look to regroup. No damage done yet, but Inter, a few opportunities early. They'll be taken here. It's now Tatonchi on for the Cobras. Robles with a long throw, aiming for Tatonchi. It's not going to get it to him. Alagoda as well. Tatonchi tries to get around him. Alagoda still. And Pizzuta will just clear that away. Into touch. And Luke Ross not happy
100%.
at all with, I believe, the call. It's going to be Alagoda to take though from touch.
Jahel fires in another shot. He's looked very dangerous early. Very deep press here from Inter. Mo Tatonchi finds the pass through. Back to Hard. Nice futsal from both teams here. Hard with a bit of footwork, tries to flick it through to Tatonchi. And it'll be a side ball with Ches Houston stepping over it. Jahel loses his footing. Hard does well to try intercept. Still going. Bit of a dog fight here early on in this game as Houston fires in the shot. And it's an early opener for Inter Perth, who now lead 1-0 in the first 3 and a bit minutes of this game. Ches Houston leading from the front and finding the back of the net.
There's a good run there by Azimi as well. Just flicked it down, managed to run around. I think Pizzuta was trying to edge him to the outside, but Houston got there first, and Inter could not have had a better start. It's to Tatonchi now. Pizzuta. Cobras looking quite rushed at the moment, not being able to possess the ball, and they are under the pump early in this game. And that ball out into touch. Cobras ball, and they'll look to bounce back, but obviously a lot of futsal to come. But with how dominant the Cobras have been in the recent couple months, not the start they were looking for. Tatonchi gets it to Ross, controls it well. Goes out to Tatonchi. Tatonchi long. And the ball is out and into touch. To be taken here by the Cobras. And this really is one of the first opportunities the Cobras have had in the attacking half all game. I must say though, the last time these two teams did play, the Cobras went down 2-0 early. And final score was 2-2. So they have been in this position before. Hard to Ross. Ross has a rocket of a right boot. But Azimi just getting the block to prevent that from troubling Tran. And now to Tatonchi. From the corner. Azimi, Reynolds. Just past Jahel. Jahel tries to get to it. And now out into touch. Pizzuto through to Ross, flicks it on, tried to get it to Hard, but wasn't there in time. Out into touch and Inter holding up very strongly. How well Inter have done since that game. They went down to Furia. At that time, I believe it was first last. They went down, had about 3 red cards. And since that moment, I don't believe they've lost a game. Now Jahel cutting through the middle. Pizzuto defending. Cuts it to Reynolds. Into Syed. Big touch there by Ross. As by Tatonchi. Clearing it away. And Robles quite vocal at the Cobras defence, who right now have absolutely got the work cut out for them. Inter have come out hard. That back roll there by Azimi past Jahel. And it'll be taken by the Cobras, who make mass substitutions.
Ross been heavily involved early on in this game as Florenka misplaces a pass, and it's a dangerous side ball here for Inter. Jahel fires it in. Syed tries to control it but can't. And Cobras will win a side ball. As said earlier by Ben, this game is huge in terms of that second spot. You just feel Cumbre, with the fixtures they have remaining as well, they'll probably be a steady way to that first spot. But this could be a real dogfight for second position here, as I also believe it takes them to a Gold Coast tournament, but not too sure about it. As Jahel gets past McPherson, plays it to Syed. Syed back roll, and what a goal! Hits it top bins and does his celebration. 2-0 now for Inter. 5 minutes into this game. Can you believe it?
Well, I cannot believe it. Now, I thought coming into this game it would be closer probably for the first 5 minutes, but what we are seeing right now is Inter have come out, and they've come out hard. Syed with the finish. It was a brilliant finish into that top left corner, and the Cobras have a lot of work to do. That ball out into touch, and Julich called that early timeout. Clearly, so far anyway, it has not paid dividends. That long ball ends up with Robles. Long ball now. McPherson, can he control it? Tries to flick it inside, and Nolan can't get to it. On is Betim Zeba now for Inter. Zeba goes long. It's a great ball by Zeba, just though too far out in front of Syed, who, what a celebration it was by him. Could not have dreamed of a better opening to this game. Inter, down the line goes Florenka, finding McPherson, who tries to get past the Philippus, and looks like he just ran out of real estate. Ball will be brought back in by De Philippus, who tried to find Alagoda, cleared away by Robles. And Robles, you can see, very, very vocal. His first game as well in quite a while. Tom Robles, Jaden Ashmore has been manning the nets for at least the last few games. And Robles will be looking to get a win on his return. Florenka called back by Campos. And just creeping too close there with the Philippus to take. The Philippus to Syed. And you can see the Cobras now trying to implement a high press as well. Zeba does well. Almost past Robles. McPherson with an air swing. Syed cleared on the line by Pizzuto. Absolute chaos. De Philippus wayward of Syed, and could have very, very easily been 3-0 Inter. The Cobras looking to get back into this game. Taken here by Florenka. Nolan. Florenka to Pizzuto, back to Florenka in the centre now. Out to Pizzuto. This is better by the Cobras. Nolan, Florenka. Nolan again, this is much better by the Cobras. They'll cut it through the centre now. Lockie Ryan on for the Cobras as well. Pizzuto through the centre, tries to get it to Ryan, misses the ball. Florenka comes in, saving that opportunity. Still Florenka, spins around 3 players, now loses it, gets back onto it. Out to Ryan. Ryan under Alagoda pressure, one back. De Philippus, Alagoda, Syed. Ryan putting pressure on De Philippus. Saeed with Pizzuto defending, and Pizzuto does enough. He's brought in here from touch by Saeed. Gives it to De Philippus. Squeezes it into Ziba. Ziba uses his body well. Gets it back to Saeed. Now Alagoda. Florenka trying to win it back. Alagoda. Pizzuto does well there defensively, putting pressure on, and he hoping it's going to be his ball. It's going to be Saeed to take. Saeed will bring it in from touch. Pizzuto and Ross not happy. Alagoda. Saeed. Under pressure here from Ryan. Ryan still pressing. De Philippus. Back to Ziba. Saeed now. Thinks about going long, goes to De Philippus. One back by Ryan. He's got a 1-on-2 ahead of him. And Ziba with a big win defensively.
Pizzuto now. Nice block from Ryan. He fires in the shot. And it's well cleared by Saeed. Inter really got the front foot over on this game. Feels like Cobras haven't really stepped out of first gear here. And we're already 7 minutes into this one. Ryan, little back roll. Pizzuto. Luke Ross, fresh from his hat-trick of assists yesterday for Hume against Fitzroy over in the Melbourne Series Futsal.
Up a bit, up.
As into with another side ball.
Forward, up.
Alagoda with the long ball. Well deflected and intercepted by Ross. Totonchi now. And Pizzuto loses his footing and Inter win another side ball from their persistent pressure. Alagoda drives through, and that's a brilliant slide tackle by Luke Ross. As you feel this game's really starting to get away from Cobras if Inter were to score another.
Shake, lock the next one. Follow mode, up.
That's a risky pass there to Reynolds. Ryan picks it up now. Cobras look to reset. Ryan misplaces his pass. Reynolds does well. Drives through. Ross intercepts. Very scrappy game here as Pizzuto has it. And it'll be retrieved to Raiden Tran.
Yeah, the Cobras have seemingly had a few more attacking opportunities in the last few moments, but Inter's still holding up strong. Been brought in here by Inter. Gabe Reynolds, must say, putting great pressure on earlier, putting pressure on Ross, Ryan. It's a young talent in this league. Houston under Luke Ross pressure. Ross gets a boot to it, catches the post, and a foul called. Foul called for Luke Ross, who was trying to win that back off Houston, but called for the foul. Dexter Hard now on for the Cobras. Can he have an impact? He's still in the chase for that golden boot, but right now the key is winning this game of futsal, getting back into it. There is Hard, getting out to it, cleared away by Houston. DeCane tried to let that go, but almost kept in. In fact, he's done just enough there, DeCane. Maybe a side ball for the Cobras. Ross still down the line, going all the way down the line. Tries to squeeze it in. Couldn't get it to his teammate. Hard putting pressure on. Houston out to Reynolds. Reynolds, that ball's going to be intercepted. Hard. I thought it was going out hard. Got to it. Almost found Ross at the back post. Great opportunity, but Inter do just enough. And it'll be the Cobras still with an opportunity here. Can they find just the one that they need to get back into this game? Shot by Hard, deflected. Another corner for the Cobras.
Come on.
Florenko will take. Approaching the midway point of this first half and be retaken. Florenko hard on the left, and that rocket, which has found him so many goals this season, that time just getting under it and over the crossbar. Be taken here by Inter, looking to extend that lead. This is really the first time the Cobras have been challenged in quite a long time. One back here by Decane. How will they respond? And Inter, out to this early lead, they want to continue to put foot on the pedal. Decane, hard, tries to get it past Houston. Cleared away by Tran. Now Houston, Alagoda tries to get past Decane. Decane does well. Now Florenka into Hard. Dexter Hard catches the post on the follow-up. Doesn't finish. Tran still. And it's not finished by the Cobras. And Inter hold that 2-goal lead. What a chance was begging. Decane pulled down. A foul will be called. And no arguments there on that call. It was pulled down there by Omulchuk. But the Cobras came out slow to this game, but they've at least created some opportunities. Still unable to trouble the scorers yet, but back in the contest.
Marco, next one.
Now to be taken here by Dexter Hard. Lining up. What will they draw up, the Cobras? Hard. Takes a shot himself. Catches the wall on the way through. De Philippus. Jahel. Through to Decane. Decane does enough. Decane trying to take off. But Saeed, in fact, Jahel wins it back. And a yellow will be given. And Dexter Hard not happy with the call of yellow. Probably can't complain too much. He was, I think Hard is trying to say there were a number of defenders still ahead of the play, but clear pull, and the foul was given at least, and Decane, probably a bit of a professional foul. As Jahel is looking electric in this game. He hasn't scored. Houston and Saeed, the scorers so far, but he's creating a lot of opportunities just through his shiftiness. Houston now. Good ball through to De Philippus. Catches Dexter Hard on the way through, and a corner to be taken here for Inter.
Too flat, boys.
Long ball, Houston on the first touch. And when that was in the air, you could almost see if there's someone that can finish that type of shot, that type of ball, it'd be a Chev Houston, but that time just couldn't keep it on target. Luke Ross through to McLaren, back to Ross. This is a nice run down the line, cuts it inside on De Philippus, takes a shot himself, big save by Tran. Houston out to Jahel, Jahel down the line now. McPherson tracking back well and forces Inter all the way back. Alagoda. And now the Cobras putting a lot of pressure on Inter with this high press. Alagoda ball through. Nolan gets a touch on it. McLaren to Luke Ross. McLaren again. Ross again. Tries to go back to McLaren, too much on it. McPherson was calling for it. Did have the option there. Decided to try and get it to McLaren instead. But just out of his reach. And that will be an Inter ball.
Mizudo McPherson does well to hold it up.
Get down, get down.
Switched into McLaren. One-on-one with Jahel here. Tries something, it doesn't work. He does well to win the ball back. Houston drives now. Bit of a push. Not enough to give a foul, I don't think. Jahel now. And McLaren does well to intervene.
One more, please keep going. Keep it going, please. Thank you.
DeFilippis tries to play it to Ryan, but couldn't keep it down. Pizzuto. McPherson can't stay in front, so Houston does well to intercept. Plays it to Jahel. Robles does really well there to get a foot in. And now McPherson tries to drive through. And DeFilippis does well to use his body. Jahel now. Shoots. And wow. Robles lost his footing. And it's deflected off his foot onto the post. And he's got a bit fortunate there, you'd have to say. Jahel, back post, DeFilippis now. And he misplaces his pass, and he's clearly not happy with himself there, as it's a Cobras side ball. Pizzuto, McPherson, 2-on-1 if they play it right. Jahel does well again. Saeed drives through. And the ball goes out. Syed not too happy about it. As Luke Ross once again enters the field. Nolan now. Pizzuto. Nice ball back to Nolan. Can he make use of it? Tran does well with bodies in the way. Ross slides. McPherson does well. Shot blocked by Tran. And that's a better piece of play from Cobras, and it forces it into timeout. A lot better movement and a lot more shots fired there from Cobras, who have clawed their way back into this game, despite the score not showing it. We'll be back with you shortly.
And we are back here from that Greg Farrell called timeout for Inter Perth. And still a 2-0 lead for Inter. Cobras finding a bit of continuity in their game over these last 5 or 6 minutes, but unable to get the ball past Tran, who's done a superb job at keeping this lead to 2 goals. Jahel will bring it in here from touch.
Right there, please. Yeah, right there.
In fact, it looks like he's left it to Saeed.
Play.
Bookman Saeed, Jahel tried to, probably halfway between a shot and a back post pass, but it's going to go out into touch. And it was called, initially it looked like it might have been called for a deflection, but it's going to be a Cobras ball. Tutonchi goes long to Ryan. Can it get to him? He gets a touch on it and the shot. Not going to trouble Tran though. Straight over the crossbar. Tran to De Philippus, who almost loses his footing. Tries to get it out to Ryan, but out wide for him. Pizzuto to Ross. Back to Pizzuto. Good ball through, finding Ryan. Nice flick past Jahel to Tonchi. Pizzuto goes to Ryan, but turns it over. Ryan, Saeed, De Philippus. Out to Jahel. Jahel with a long ball. Pizzuto gets a head on it, and Saeed was the target. Jahel still, one back by Ryan. Jahel fights. Robles will just clear this away and does a brilliant job getting it to Ryan. Now Luke Ross cuts it through the middle. Out wide to Tatonchi. Shot on the right. Big save by Tran. And hammered away by Jahel. Almost putting a hole through the roof. And it'll be a Cobras ball. Tatonchi to take. I do feel like, yes, once Inter got out to that good start. And that shot by Ross was good, but just high. This has been a very intense and fairly even game throughout. Tran to Saeed. Ryan back to Saeed, under pressure from Ryan. Saeed still clears it away, and Lockie Ryan doing enough there to put the pressure on, forcing a turnover. Ross, Florenka takes it down the line, but brilliant use of the body. Brilliant use of the body there. Daniel Ryan has come up into the Supa-Liga A-League only fairly recently, but he's had a huge impact so far. Was called upon a number of injuries, a number of players missing through injury and suspension earlier this season. Saeed, very short pass. It confused everyone, I think. Ends up with Azimi. Now Ross, Florenka, and a handball might be called. Looks like it's not going to be called. Florenka, Jahel. Jahel lets that go.
We're on 4 fouls.
And 4 fouls, as you would have maybe heard John Goodlich call out. 4 fouls for the Cobras, 1 for Inter. They cannot concede another foul, the Cobras, especially with 6 minutes to go in the first half. Brought in here, De Philippus, Alagoda loses it. Ryan to Tonchi, takes a shot. It's going to be blocked by Azimi, and probably a side ball there for the Cobras. And it'll be to Tonchi to take it. They've been doing a lot of defending over these last 7 or 8 minutes, Inter, but they've defended very well and still haven't conceded. To Tonchi, all the way long, finding Florenka. Florenka tries to go down the line. Alagoda's a good defender, and he does enough.
Barclay next out. Barclay next out.
It'll be brought in here. It's going to be an Inter ball. Alagoda. Long ball over the head of Ross. Ross leaves for Robles. Robles to Florenka. Ross to Marco Florenka. Gets it to Tonchi. Has Azimi defending. Goes now wide to Ross. Ross with a flick down the line. It's a good one. Gets it to Tonchi. And a massive block. Ryan was at the back post as well. But great defense there by Inter. Once again, holding strong. And to Tonchi now will take the corner. Goes long. Good ball. Florenka controls it eventually. Finds Ross. Ross to Florenka. Has time and space. Cut back to Tonchi, whose shot wasn't far off, but just went wide left. We're approaching the 5-minute mark to go in this first half. Dexter Hard back on, Flynn Nolan back on for the Cobras. Down the line goes De Philippus, intercepted by Florenka. All the way back to Ross, back to Florenka. And that's a good ball, finding Hard, but he loses it. Great defense by De Philippus. And you can just tell these teams have played against each other so often. They know each other so well and what they're trying to do. And it's just a fascinating matchup. Saeed, Reynolds leaves, thought that Alagoda was there, but just a bit of a miscommunication from Intra on that play. Pizzuto will take from touch. DeCane, Pizzuto cuts it through the centre, gets it through to Dexter Hard. Nolan back to Pizzuto. Goes long, tried to get it to Hard, but Saeed reads it well. Nolan. DeCane makes a run, Pizzuto onto it. Tries to go back to Nolan, but unable to find him. Ball was behind him. Miscommunication again. Reynolds now. Alagoda. Pizzuto got a touch on it. Azimi tried to find Reynolds, but out into touch, and Nolan to take. Pizzuto. DeCane. Pizzuto again. This one gets to Nolan. Turnover. Reynolds did brilliantly, cleared by Pizzuto, and he'll have to clear it again for a second time. And it'll be brought in from touch here. Alagoda. Azimi shot, and the deflection forcing another corner. And just a momentary pause in play. Bit of sweat being wiped up off the court. And the Cobras did have a lot of momentum, but it seems like Inter have found a way to claw that momentum back and creating a few attacking opportunities in the last couple minutes. Still holding that 2-goal lead, and a third goal would be so crucial. Who can have an impact for Inter to potentially give them a 3-goal lead? Azimi, shot goes wide. That was always going to be tough to get that on target. Pizzuto. Nice by Reynolds. Pizzuto still. Now a shot, almost finishing. Goes wide. And so close to being a 3-goal lead. Long ball. Dexter Hard on the left. Big save by Tran. Shot over the goals and chaos on the benches. It's going to be an incorrect substitution or something along those lines, or 5 players on the court. But it will be an Inter ball. And now we're about to get back underway. And it looks like Jake Pizzuto called for potentially an incorrect substitution. I assume that can be the only thing it was for. It was called on the bench there by the Cobras. Pizzuto apologising. Houston tries to get it to Azimi. Ball behind the back post. Be taken here by Azimi. The deflection there. Inter's ball. Has Alagoda. Goes that way. Takes a shot on the left. Deflection. Could have gone anywhere. And fortunate for the Cobras, it wasn't past Robles and Houston to take. Here's Alagoda waiting. Goes to Alagoda, shot on the left, deflects, straight into the hands of Robles. Robles goes to Florenka. Florenka down the line, still going down the line, Florenka. Reynolds getting there, and just ran out of room, couldn't keep it in.
Well, if you've just joined us, there was 2 goals within the first 5 minutes for Inter. However, since then, it's been a pretty even game. You could even argue Cobras have been the better team. But despite saying that, the scores have remained the same since those opening 5 minutes. Nice hold-up play there from Zeba. Can't find a pass, and it'll be a Cobras side ball. Ross tries to flick it inside, intercepted by Zeba. Alagoda now with a shot. And Luke Ross recovers well to put in a block. Hard been told off for coming within that 5-metre radius for the side ball. Houston, Alagoda, Reynolds, what a save! Tom Robles stuck that right leg down into the split and he stopped it from going into the bottom left corner and it turning into a 3-0 lead as Betim Zeba fouls Dexter hard. Could argue it's a yellow. In fact, I think it should be. The referee doesn't give a yellow. Quite a bit of controversy so far in this game.
Luke Ross not happy. Wanting the yellow, I think the argument was that there was a similar yellow called on the run from Jahel earlier. Probably not the exact same thing, but yellow definitely could have been given if the earlier one was, but not given. And the Cobras now still have a chance to get one back on the brink of half time. It's going to be hard to take.
Hard stood over it. Tom Glavinich not very happy with Dexter Hard. As the free kick will finally be played here. Ball into Marco Florenka. And that's a nice block. And it'll be a Cobras corner with 3 minutes remaining in the half. Hard with the shot. Houston does well. Nice passage of play here from Cobras as it'll come to an end. Commentator's curse right there.
It happens very often. It's to be taken now from touch. Reynolds through to Houston. Houston on the right. Just couldn't wrap it around far enough to get a shot off. Long ball by Robles. McPherson controls it well. Still putting pressure on. Last touch off Florenka. And that's going to be brought back in by Houston. Houston down the line. Gets it to Alagoda. Robles now. Goes long. McPherson did well, but Houston got back and helped out Reynolds. Now Reynolds. Reynolds under pressure. And no foul called. Would have been a 5th foul. And it's called. In fact, no, it isn't. It's a corner for Inter. They can ill afford to give away a 5th foul. With a couple minutes remaining. They've done well to survive the last 4 minutes without doing so. Houston with a shot, just wide, and tell you what, Tom Robles' right leg is getting a workout. Made that big save earlier when Reynolds almost found that bottom left corner. That ball almost forcing some work for Robles as well. Zeba out to Houston. This could be finished. Goes inside. Zeba caught the outside of the boot. Probably could have had a shot himself there. Houston, it was a good pass though. Zeba just couldn't get the connection he was looking for. Tried to toe poke it. Jake Pizzuto. Just a bit of sweat being wiped up off the court again. Robles, Nolan, Pizzuto. Nice idea. Ross
Shirt
frustrated.
pull right there from Jahel, and Tom Glevenich has not spotted it.
That's obviously where the
Ross had his
frustration
shirt
came.
pull, trying to make that run. As I believe Cobras had a set play there, and it has been ruined.
It looked to be a pretty good play as well if there wasn't that jersey pull, but no reward for Ross and no damage done. Still a Cobras ball, and Ross still having a few words here to the referee. Robles, Pizzuto, we're in the final 2 minutes now of the first half. Ross cuts it past Zeba, tries to get it out to Pizzuto. He wasn't there. Alagoda. Pizzuto does well defensively, takes on Zeba, beats Zeba. Now a foul will be called on Alagoda. And will a card be given? It doesn't appear to be. And once again, it's probably pretty similar to that early yellow, but not given. And it looks like Pizzuto might have copped a hit, potentially to the head or to the mouth of some sort. Or the hand, I'm not sure, but he's subbed himself off. And hard to come on. But a good foul in the end by Alagoda, stopping the run by the Cobras. And with a minute and a half to go, that 2-goal lead, which they got out to in about 3 or 4 minutes of play, is still intact. Nolan, Ross, Hard. Back to Ross. Hard, finding Ross again. Ross with a shot and touched on the way through. That's what the Cobras need. They need to find a way to make R13 Tran make some big saves. And on that occasion, he was up to the task. I don't know if it would have stayed under the crossbar, but great save nevertheless. Now a corner to be taken by Ross. Ball through to Hard with a shot on the left, and that would have been one of the goals of the season if he finished it off. But always going to be tough to keep that on target. A shot coming off the outside of his left boot. And R13 Tran now to take. De Philippus. Jahel under pressure from Hard. Hard gets a touch on it and wins it, but just can't control it. To his high standards, ball out. And a kick in for Jahel. De Philippus, good ball finding Zeba, who controls it well enough. Gets it back to De Philippus. Zeba still almost beating Robles. That probably was on target. Robles cutting off the angle. Zeba not happy with no foul being called. And it'll be an interball with 51 seconds to go. Jahel will be taking Zeba, De Philippus and Syed to pick from. I presume Syed's going to have the shot here. I presumed wrong. De Philippus with a shot. Hard on the intercept. Doesn't have many options. Tries to cut it through Zeba and Syed. The ball got through, but not him. Nice flick by Ross. McPherson tries to get it past Tran. Big save. Still Luke Ross. Cuts it outside, goes down. No foul called. Syed with Nolan to beat. And now a foul will be called on Ross. And I think that foul was a bit of frustration there by Ross. Oh, no foul being called from him earlier. You can't argue on that one. That is 5 fouls and 30 seconds for the Cobras to survive.
Really controversial there, as it looked like Ross was fouled earlier by Bessem Zeba. However, it's a 5th foul. May not matter in terms of this game, as there's only 30 seconds remaining. But it's a free kick in a dangerous position here for Inter.
So the last time these two teams did play, the Cobras gave away a 6th foul in the final 10 seconds of the game, which conceded a penalty, which would have won it, but Jaden Ashmore did make a big save from the 10-metre penalty. This is obviously different circumstances. First half, just a bit of conversation going on with the referee and Lachlan Ryan at the moment. You can just sense a lot of frustration in these last 10 minutes from the Cobras. Obviously things aren't going their way in this first half on the scoreboard. And despite getting some ascendancy back, they haven't been able to claw this margin, which has been 2 goals for pretty much the whole game now. Houston to De Philippus. Saeed got a touch on it, but it'll be Robles to take. On ball. Ends up here with Raiden Tran. De Philippus back to Jahel, tracing all the way back. They cannot foul the Cobras. They've got to be very careful. Jahel, 8 seconds to go. De Philippus, Florenka, Marco Florenka on the precipice of half-time, almost getting one back. And John Goodrich about to pop a blood vessel, screaming to not foul. 2 seconds to go. Pizzuto, Florenka has got to have a shot. That'll do it. And that is the first half done and dusted. 2 goals to 0, the lead for Inter Perth. We'll be back with you in what does promise to have fireworks in the second half. The Cobras look to come back, while Inter look to hold on to their spot, second on the ladder.
Futsal WA has social futsal competitions 5 nights a week, Mount Lawley and West Perth. Whether you're an individual or have a group of mates who want to play, there's a junior, men's, women's or mixed competition that will suit you. Contact us to get involved in futsal, an action-packed sport and the fastest growing sport in Australia.
And we are back for the second half here on a Monday night at Subiaco. The Cobras, with all the work in front of them, 2 goals down. Inter just got to hold on, and they almost win the ball back immediately to Inter Perth. They do, with Robles having to clear it. Jahel gets it through to DeFilippis. Back to Jahel, who clears it long, and Cobras win the ball back.
That's good. That's good.
Nolan, Florenka, back to Nolan.
Lookman, don't overreach.
Florenka in the centre, cuts through 2 defenders, still going Florenka. Now he runs over the ball. Sayed, he overruns it himself, allowing Ryan to get there. Nolan, Luke Ross, into Florenka, tries to get it back to Ross. Big win by Houston. Houston with a back roll, chance for Sayed on the left. And Lukman Sayed gives Inter a 3-goal lead. And you see the celebration there. It is trouble for the West Coast Cobras.
Lookman. Boys, the game's far from done.
3 goals to nothing. And a long way back now. Lukman Sayed now with 2 goals in a row for Inter. And both pretty similar finishes of high quality. Robles clears it away. Straight into the roof. And it will be Jahel to take. DeFilippis. Back row to Jahel. One back by Luke Ross. Tries to get it to Florenka. Houston does enough. Sayed. Ball's behind DeFilippis. It'll be brought in now. A couple substitutions made by the Cobras. Not the start to the half that they were after. Similar to the first half. It has not gone their way, and it'll be Inter now. Jahel to take the corner. Houston, Sayed tried to flick it down the line. In fact, towards the goal, couldn't keep it in. Now Robles. Pizzuto through the centre, back roll, finding Ross. McLaren tried to get it back to Ross. Cleared away by DeFilippis, and it's last off to Florenka.
Look, Amir's ready.
Azimi, good pressure by Florenka, wins it back, now takes on 3. Big chance, still a chance, cleared away by DeFilippis. And Inter hold on again. Robles to Ross. Ross, good ball through to Pizzuto. Pizzuto to Florenka. Back to Pizzuto. This is a good build-up. Florenka with a shot and another save by Tran. His positioning has been exemplary today, and just finding a way to maintain that clean sheet. Pizzuto, Ross. Goes back to Robles. Robles takes a shot himself. And a bit of a wasted possession there by the Cobras.
DeFilippis now, heavily pressed by Pizzuto. Florenka does well to intercept. McLaren, Florenka, Ross, saved by Tran again. That is a very nice save.
Amir, watch the left. Amir, watch the left foot dummy to cut inside.
Shot fired in by Florenka. Houston blocks it. Ross. Heavily pressing again here, Inter. Cobras do well to get out of it. McLaren, Pizzuto. Nice ball movement, a few passes here. Pizzuto, McLaren tries to find Ross at the back post, but De Philippus does well to block it. Ross plays it to Florenka, sort of loses his footing, but does well to recover. Pizzuto, Florenka. Done well to get that type of connection onto it, but it'll be a keeper's ball. Referee. Bit of confusion here, but it's because Raiden Tran has thrown it outside of his D, and the 4-second count does continue. And it will now be an indirect free kick just outside the box. Could this be the turning point in the game here for Cobras?
Big opportunity here for the Cobras. They need something to get back in the game. Massive save by Tran. Ross got the shot off. And Tran makes the save. Pizzuto takes the shot himself. Catches Houston on the way through. Alagota. Houston cuts it inside. Azimi loses it. Tried to go down the line, I think. And Ross will bring it in. Here's Dexter Hard. Tries to get it onto his left. He does. On the second grab, Tran takes it. He'll go long. Tries to get to Alagota, headed riskily by Robles, but manages to clear it away. Ross tries to squeeze it through to Pizzuto, intercepted. Alagota, ball out, into touch, and a Cobras ball. Dan Formato on the interbench, obviously out for quite some time, but valuable having his experience on the bench. Long ball by Ross. And very, very comfortable there for Tran. So great night so far for Inter. Hard through to Tatonchi, Nolan, Ross, Hard, cuts it inside. Now to Tatonchi, turns it over. Jahel does well to keep possession. Back to Reynolds. Azimi under pressure. One back by Tatonchi. No foul called. Inside to Ross. Now outside to Hard. Back post. And Tatonchi so close to getting that tap in. Just out of his reach. Long ball here. Unable to be controlled. And possession kept by Azimi. Nolan. Ross. Tatonchi. Loses it, dangerous, 2-on-1. Reynolds, Jahel, almost finished, and Reynolds just caught the defence on the way through, so close. It would have beat Robles. It's going to be a keeper's ball, last off of Inter, and that's a long ball. And Ross just manages, in fact, he just couldn't quite keep it in. And Alagota will take. Been all Inter on the scoreboard tonight. Long ball and out and into touch.
Nish, if he goes forward, make sure you're ready to balance.
Ross with a nice flick, but Jahel intercepts all the way back to Robles. Robles goes long, hard. Was there a touch in there by Jahel? Not called.
Tony, box.
Here's Jahel. He goes long. Overrun it there. Hit Inter. Dangerous from Robles. It's gone in! Absolute disaster for the Cobras. And it has been all Inter tonight. And I cannot believe that ball has gone in. One of the more unconventional conceding of goal you'll ever see. Robles catches, I think, Omulchuk on the way through, and it's just deflected in. He did get a boot to it, so great quick thinking there by Omulchuk. And it is now 4-0 Inter. This is remarkable. You don't often see these two teams play in games that are separated by more than a goal. Nolan cuts it through. Omulchuk goes down. Hard with a shot. Shot is wide. And you'd think that both of these teams are locked in the top three, so depending on the result tonight, you'd think at the moment it's looking like it's going to be Inter. They'll push for keeping Cumbre honest on that top role, the top spot. You'd expect there's a big chance these two teams will meet come finals, and Inter are taking a lot of momentum into that if that's the case. Here's Reynolds. Still Reynolds. Tries to get it back to Alagoda. Down the line goes Florenka, fighting with Alagoda. Still Florenka. And this time a foul will be called. Down went Omulchuk. And it will be all, it'll be Inter's ball, and so far it has been all Inter. In what is a grand final rematch, Inter are getting a bit of revenge here tonight. Robles goes long to hard. Nice bit of ball control. Now flicks it back inside. One back by Alagoda. Alagoda still. Alagoda for 5-0. Almost on the follow-up. Somehow doesn't find the back of the net. And 4-0 still the lead.
It's a timeout again early in this half for Cobras, and you feel both halves going similar ways as Inter score 2 in the first 5 minutes of both halves, and Cobras call an early timeout. We'll be back with you shortly.
And we are back.
Gabe, drop off.
And the Cobras,
Tony, drop
needless to say, they need a miracle. 4 goals down in the second half. I don't know if they'll bring on the 5th man or if they'll just continue playing their game. That's a good ball by Florenka, finding for Zudo. Back to Florenka. Now Ross has time and space. Back to Florenka. Ross. Ryan. Luke Ross. Tries to go down the line. Still going Ross. Now cuts it in. Goes down. Then a foul will be called. It'll be Cobras to take.
Ross does well in the 1-on-2 there to win a free kick. John Goodlich subbed Marco Florenka off to put Dexter Hard on for that free kick. It'll be interesting to see how he's involved here if they set up a set play. Looks like Lockie Ryan may put on a block here for a Dexter Hard shot. Let's see if I'm right. Indeed I was, but Jahel does well to recover and put a block in. It'll be a Cobras corner kick. Hard into the middle. Houston does well. And Tran collects. Throws it over the top to Jahel. It's a foot race. Robles does well to get a hand in. And you just feel whenever Cobras get a bit of momentum going, Inter instantly reply. Syed. Alagoda fires in a very quick shot, but it's just wide of the left side of the post. Tran now with a long throw, looking for Reynolds. It falls back to Syed. He shoots a volley.
Lookman, next time just shoot at the goal.
And Greg Farrell not happy with that attempt on goal.
Was that an attempt on goal? Lookman, make sure you far post. Come on!
Reynolds tries to play into Syed. Robles does well to save. He didn't need to, but on those side balls, it's always hard to predict, as it can always take a touch.
And he's only got one thing. As soon as he caught it and didn't throw it.
Robles picks it up. Throws it long, looking for Lockie Ryan, and it's hit him in the back of the head. And now Inter on the break here. Jahel squares it to Reynolds. Have Cobras got a lifeline there that can bring them back into this game, being 4-0 down? That goal that you think would surely go in hasn't. And it could be the start of something, as Ross heavily fouled.
Yeah.
And it's called.
That was remarkable. The tap in, just needed to tap it, didn't need to put anything on it, and just got under it.
Hands off him, boy.
Remarkable, and the crowd, the whole crowd went up when that happened. They could not believe the miss, but I must say, Gabe Reynolds did put in a great effort on that follow-up, getting through about 4 different players, fighting for it. And it's going to be another goal, is it? Ross gets a boot to it, clearing it away. Now Robles has to go long, and the Cobras just look absolutely under pressure. Florenka, Ross tries to flick it past Alagoda. Alagoda uses his body well. Pizzuto does well to get back. Now he tries to go to Ross, gets it to him, tries to cut it inside, ball out, into touch, and a Cobras possession. No, it'll be an Inter ball, will it? It will. And Inter have just had all the answers here tonight. Jahel to Alagoda, through, turnover. Florenka tries to get to it. Syed doing well, but Ryan comes in. Ross back to Florenka. Tries to get it through the defense, can't. Ryan. Ross with a shot, goes wide, and you can just sense that Inter do smell, you can smell blood here. You can see a big opportunity to get a huge win against the Cobras. Long ball, and it might deflect in. Well, a massive collision. Massive collision there between Robles and De Philippus. Hopefully all is okay, but that was a monster collision. And we are back here at Perth Mod Subiaco. Just had a big collision just earlier between Tom Robles and De Philippus, Michael De Philippus. And yeah, we just came out of it second best, De Philippus, and just getting a bit of attention, and hopefully all is looking okay. He's in good hands outside the centre now, just about to get play underway again. But yes, yeah, just a big collision, two players that were both just flying hard for the ball, and yes, hopefully all is okay. But yes, as I mentioned, getting attended to. We're about to get things going here again with a 4-0 lead for Inter. So it'll be a Cobras ball, and it looks like they'll probably just give it back. In fact, it'll be Cobras to start with the ball. It was the Cobras ball initially, so I got that wrong. Ross. And now the fifth man comes out, and this could get even more ugly. It'd be pretty crazy to see a 6 or 7-0 score line between these two teams. But it's definitely possible. But the Cobras trying to find a way back in the game. These teams are looking like, if you do look at the ladder, they probably will finish second and third unless Cumbre capitulates in a few games later in this season. But still a good result for Inter if they do hold on. Even if just for confidence and momentum going into finals, and to keep Cumbre at least forcing them to still continue to win their games. Hard will bring it in. Ross. Sitonchi. Ross again. Hard. Florenka tries to get it to McPherson. And that'll be a Cobras ball. A corner to be taken here by Marco Florenka. Hard. Ross back to Hard. Good ball inside to Florenka. Hard tries to get it to the back post, cleared away. And Hard will take the kick in again. Hard gets it to Totonchi. Totonchi into Florenka. Probably could have gone to McPherson earlier. And about 3 players go down now. McPherson loses it, and a foul will be called. Just collected the leg of Jahel on the way through.
Well done, boys.
And Ches Houston will take 10 minutes to go. Jahel cuts it outside. Big win there by Hard. Gets it to Lockie Ryan. Ryan tries to get it out to Hard. And was there a deflection? Looks like there wasn't. Arse was just wayward. Saeed. Houston through the centre to Saeed. That was Jahel earlier. Houston tried to get it back to Saeed. Big win there by Luke Ross. Ross will give it to Pizzuto. Back to Ross. Tries to get to the back post, gets it there. Chance for Ryan. And Pizzuto was waiting, but Alagoda closing that gap very, very quickly. Ryan goes long. Hard. Ross back to Hard, and they'll play with this ball a bit. Nice flick there by Hard, getting to Pizzuto. Pizzuto now takes it on. He's lost it. Big chance. And you'd think a yellow will be given. And obviously needed to give away that foul with the 5th man out of the goals. And that will be Jake Pizzuto sent off with a 2nd yellow, and he will miss next week. Question is whether or not He knew that that was going to be a second yellow when pulling his opposition player back. Houston through the centre, but Zuda will be out for the rest of this game and next week. And now the Cobras will have to defend with 3 players, so it's all falling apart for the Cobras here tonight. Alagoda can finish, unable to. Houston gets it to Jahel. Jahel back post, and a chance goes begging there for Alagoda. Got under it. And it'll be a Cobras ball. You think this game is all but gone, unless it will take one of the most remarkable things I've seen in futsal. Houston trying to win it back from Florenka. Houston. Jahel, Sayed. To Houston. Back post. Almost. Ashmore now being brought on for the Cobras.
Ref, what time is it they get there? 7:29, thank you.
And you just feel that red card might be the burying of Cobras, despite this game having all the promise in what was thought to be an intense second v third clash. Has been an inter bloodbath as they nearly find the back of the net again. Ashmore freshly subbed on now, but he throws it straight to his rivaling keeper in Raiden Tran. Houston now. Alagoda with a nice switch to Jahel. Picks it back up. Tries to play it inside to Sayed, who would be looking for a hat trick, as it would be a big statement for him in this game as Ashmore makes a brilliant save. Houston rolls it. Ross under pressure, does well. Florenka has it now. Bit hard to create something with 3 players. Florenka tries something, it nearly pays off. But it's Inter's ball again now. 15 seconds till Cobras can get their 4th man back on the field. Inter played the time they've had a player off very intelligently. As Jahel takes a shot, Ross blocks, and Lockie Ryan can step back on the field. Houston, Sayed. Blocked by Nolan. 7 minutes 30 now left in this game. And Cobra's still yet to find the back of the net. Sayed plays the ball into Alagoda. Ashmore clears it. Really long pauses in play here. It feels like it's just repetitively an interside ball with a long breakage in play as Cobras look to press deep now. Jahel has it, tries to play it long to Sayed, finds him, Sayed with a nice touch. Has it now in a one-on-one with Ross. Finds Jahel, Jahel plays it back to Sayed. That is a brilliant save from Jaden Ashmore, and Sayed cannot believe he's not scored a hat-trick there. As Zeba and Gabe Reynolds enter the picture again.
They absolutely do. And 7 minutes to go, and it's looking all Inter. But they did well, the Cobras, at least, to not concede during that 3-man defence. We're at that 2 minutes of having the red card. Ross clears it away, straight into Jahel. Jahel still. And the ball goes out. It'll be a corner. Jahel will take the corner. Houston, back to Jahel. Jahel across the face of goals. It'll be a Cobras ball. Nolan to take. Ross. Still playing that fifth man. Ryan. Ross. Dexter Hard. What an effort it's been by Raiden Tran. He's been under the pump. The Cobras have had a number of opportunities and he's been up to the challenge, has Raiden Tran. Luke Ross through to Ryan. Does well to keep possession. Ross again. Now to Florenka. Thinks about going to Hard, decides against it. Ross to Hard, back to Ross. Now Dexter Hard. Florenka. Had Ryan, couldn't get it to him, and that'll be a goal, will it? No, it's just gone wide. For a moment, it looked like it was going to be 5-0, and there's every possibility it could be, if not worse. Nolan. Hard. Luke Ross now takes off. Good ball. Finding Florenka. Back to Ross now. Gets it to Ross. Ryan. Great ball to the back post. But Inter's defence has just been so solid throughout the whole game. Hard to Ross. Hard takes a shot straight off of Jahel. Now Nolan with a shot. Jahel again. Takes a shot. Can't kill it around enough. And it's a game of opportunities. It is 4-0. But the Cobras had a number of chances to get it back to 2-1 earlier. If they had have scored one of those, it would have been a different ball game. That's why you've got to make the most of your chances. And now 4-0. It is a blowout here at Subiaco. Dexter Hard through the centre. Out to Ryan. Gets it almost to the back post. Hard. Nolan. And another massive save at the near post. By Trent. I don't know if that was going to catch the woodwork on the way through. May have found the bottom corner. So it was a brilliant save. Hard to Ryan, now Ross. Back to Lockie, Ryan takes a shot. Might have been a back post pass. Calls for a corner.
Corner ball, please.
Are rewarded. Now the corner taken. Turnover. This should be a 5th goal and just goes wide from Jahel. It's still a 4-goal deficit for the Cobras. Hard to Ross. They'd like to at least get one back if they can, the Cobras. But Houston not letting that happen. Clears it away. Dexter Hard. Ross. Good ball inside to Ryan. Now out to Hard. Hard to Florenka. Back to Luke Ross. To Tonchi. Nice cut inside. Florenka with a shot. Deflects in. And that's one back for the Cobras. Still a long way to go. But an own goal coming off the deflection there. Chess Houston, the last to touch it. And the Cobras have got 4 minutes to get 3 goals back. And that ball's going to go out and into touch. Hard. To Tonchi. Nice back roll. Houston. In comes Ross. Wins it back. Now to Tonchi. Hard. Touch on it there from Houston. Tries to keep it in. And has he kept it in? No. Just wasn't able to stay in. To Tonchi. In fact, it'd be Ross to take. Hard. To Luke Ross. Good ball through to Hard. Back post. Big by Tran. In comes Florenka. Zeba. One back by the Cobras. Shot by Ross. Hard again. And that was so close to getting to that back post, but Tran got an all-crucial boot in there. Still the 3-goal lead intact. Ross. Florenka thought about going hard. The passing lane wasn't open enough. Good ball by Ross to Tonchi. Luke Ross. 3 minutes to go now. The clock is the enemy of the Cobras. Ross, Florenka out to Hard, who has all sorts of space. To Tonchi. To Hard. Good ball inside. Dangerous though. They got the 5th man. They're going to be very careful. I suppose conceding another goal doesn't really matter. They've just got to find a way to get one. And there's the turnover, and this should be game over. But what a slide by Luke Ross. Can't tell from this angle, but it did appear to be online. Luke Ross saving probably a certain goal for Nishana Lagoda. And just under 3 minutes to go now. 4-1 the lead for Inter. Houston. Alagoda with a shot. Swatted away by Ashmore. Ross takes on Zeba. Now cuts it back and Zeba gets a boot in there, and Ross will take from about centre court. In fact, Florenka to take. Ross instructing Florenka that risks need to be taken now. Concede another one. Doesn't really matter. You've just got to find a way to get one back. Tries to go to the back post there hard. And it was a very tough ball to be controlled there for Ryan. Side ball for Inter. Still need a miracle, the Cobras. That goal that they did get back keeps them somewhat of a 1 in 10 chance, but probably a lot higher odds than, a lot worse odds than that. But Inter, they've just been too strong tonight. They've been so solid in defence, as well as Raiden Tran making a number of big saves, and then the classy finishing. Lukman Saeed, of note, scoring 2 goals. Ross, Florenka, gets it to Hard. Nice idea there by Ryan, trying to get it out to Nolan. Nolan recovers. Good flick by Dexter Hard. Ross. Hard inside. Turnover, Alagoda trying to get a shot off. Still a good press here from Ryan, doing just enough. Still on it, Lockie Ryan. Now Zeba can seal the game, and that one's wide. Exactly 2 minutes to go now. Florenka. Houston gets a touch on it. Saeed. Now Alagoda, and no one in goals here. This should be finished. And it is. Lukman Saeed gets a hat-trick, and that will be all she wrote here at Subiaco. It's going to be 5-1, and you would think now that the West Coast Cobras are going to go down, and what a win it will be for Inter.
Bit of a statement there from Lukman Syed with a hat-trick this evening, as Mikey DeFilippis finally being escorted to hospital after that brutal head clash with Tom Robles. Very unfortunate circumstances here. As Cobras persist with their 5th man, despite being 4 down with 1:30 remaining. Can they get a couple of consolation goals to make the score look a bit more respectable? As Ross finds Nolan. Intercepted by Syed, but he can't keep it in play. Bit of a late call there, but I think it was the right call, as Inter will end up with the side ball at the halfway line. Bit of a crowd ended up here, despite the domination that Inter have shown. As Amar Jahel has come crashing into me in the commentary box here. As Florenka fires in a shot, blocked by Syed. Amir Ali tries to intercept, as Luke Ross completely cleans him out. Debates as to whether it's a yellow or red card. I think it's a yellow. I will see what the referees think of.
And Ross pleading for it not to be a straight red. Going to be a second yellow.
Second yellow there for Luke Ross, who will now serve a 1-game suspension. And he is filthy about it. And you can't blame him. It has not been a good night for West Coast Cobras here.
2 players will be missing for next week, Jake Pizzuto and Luke Ross gone.
2 big names as well. However, they have done well undermanned this season, you must say. Dexter Hard and a few other big names have clawed them to victory in other games, including Coburn Wolves, where they won 10-3 without the 2, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. The Cobras have had a bit of a disjointed season, as have Inter. But Cobras had a few games earlier where they had players out, and they're going to be asked to do the same thing again and to find ways to win. At the end of the day, you'd think the top 3 are locked in, and it's now a matter of finding form going into finals. Ball just stays in here for Jahel. Houston. Jahel. Azimi. Ches Houston. All alone is Syed, but Hard gets back. They don't want to concede a 6th goal. That will start to look really ugly, despite the fact that it doesn't really have a major effect. Nice defence there. No foul called in the end. Azimi. Hard coming in. Azimi gets it out to Houston. Nolan now putting pressure on Hard. And that is one back by the Cobras, and it'll be taken by Flynn Nolan.
Dexter Hard trying to be cautious there. I believe if he picks up a yellow card, that would also mean he misses the next match. And you would argue that would be the 3 best players for West Coast Cobras who would miss their next match. Unsure who it's against, but it would be a very tough task, whoever they have to play.
So I assume that would mean that he's had the 4 yellows in the lead up to this game. And that would have ruled him out. But anyway, that is all she wrote. 5-1 is the win for Inter Perth. They've been too strong here tonight. Cobras will be back to the drawing board going into next week, where they will be undermanned, whilst Inter will look to continue to play this brand of futsal going into finals. Thank you for watching. We'll get the stats up in just a moment, but a great win by Inter. We'll be back with you this weekend for some more exciting futsal action to come.